What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Darion LA Show. Listen, I have a very special guest. Y'all know I love a good concert, and one of the biggest concerts of 2026 is the R&B tour. That's Usher and Chris Brown. They're literally everywhere. So many dates, more than 50 dates going around the U.S. And let me tell you, of course, I had to go to a stop here in Charlotte. Gotta feel the vibes of what's going on. But it's a very special person that's behind the scenes and actually in front of the scenes too that I have with me here today. I have Bobby Ross Avila. Bobby,
How you doing,
it's
brother?
so good having you here.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here, man.
Yes, you're a Grammy Award winning producer, instrumentalist, so many different things, brother. How does it feel to be on this tour?
It's a great experience. You have two iconic artists that have really impacted music on such a high level. And the beauty of it is like there's such a comparison between the two. But this tour allows you to see how different they are on one stage, and just to see what they've been able to do with music and how they've impacted the game is an exciting experience to witness.
And we're talking about a stadium tour. And huge fans like myself, I love seeing artists get to a point that they are in a stadium. I
Yeah.
think a lot of them work so hard to get to that point to be in a stadium. One artist I can't wait to see at that point is J. Cole. Love him,
Yeah, yeah, J.
right?
Cole.
Love him.
Yeah. J. Cole's
Went to his
dope.
concert here in Charlotte, and it was at the Spectrum Arena. And I'm like, man, J. Cole, we can take it to like the arena. I mean the stadium, but I mean you can kind of give us an insight into this. Stadiums are a lot of space to fill up though. Not just
Yeah.
the people, the actual show itself. What goes into filling that space with so much show?
You know what I think? Both of them between Usher and Chris, they demand so much just from a visual perspective, and with dancing and how they interact with the crowds. It takes up a lot of space. But what's crazy is like I didn't even really think about the difference between the arena and stadium. Because I've been so involved in the creative side of things, you don't realize what it is until the actual, it's showtime. But what I do is, while Chris is on, I'll go back to the side of the stage and just look at the stadium. And, you see all the lights and everybody holding their phones up. And what's amazing to me is to see thousands of people in these seats, and to witness the power of music. So it's a crazy experience. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. Myself being a music director, along with my brother, my partner in crime is, we have an incredible team. Bruce Bang, our engineer, Jamel, music director, Mitch, who's CB's music director, security, our bro J-Lac, who handles front of house. There's so many things that go into this to make it work, that I now understand. Like, wow, okay, we're not doing arenas, and I used to specifically be with Usher in arenas, and now a stadium is like it's insane. It's insane.
I mean, like you're also part of the producing team, which like gets the show actually together. But you're on stage as well.
As well, yeah.
How is that feeling being on stage and actually not only being able to plan the music, but feel the music and be in the moment?
It's great. I mean, I love what Terry Lewis says to me. He goes, "Man, I'm glad you got off your ass and off the couch and you're able to touch people." And it's amazing to see the work that I've done and me and my brother have done with Usher, with writing our records with him, and to see him perform them records in front of an audience that big. It's like, again, man, I think I'm just blessed, man. The power of music to me is the real true superstar out of all of it.
And speaking of the records, what are the records that you produced with Usher?
We did quite a few records over, a 22-year span. So Confessions, we wrote and produced along with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Seduction, Bad Girl, That's What It's Made For, Simple Things, Truth Hurts. We went on to do a few records on Raymond versus Raymond, Mars versus Venus, and Monstar. I mean, we've done so many records with him. Glue, with Sean Garrett and Lil Jon.
Hold on. So you wrote Seduction?
Yeah, yeah.
That is the cut, man.
Yeah, and that one's in the show too, and it's in a great act, between Chris and Ush, and to see that record, be performed, and just the crowd reaction. It's amazing, man. It really is. It's truly a great experience.
And we're talking about hours long too, being on stage. What type of like stamina does that take to even be able to pull off a show of that nature?
Man, tons of stamina, especially when you're in Charlotte and it's like a gazillion degrees hot. I mean, everybody was like, "Oh my God!" We have fans on our cubicles, man, and it was like those weren't working. It's like one jacket comes off, then the next dress shirt comes off, then it's like, oh man, I'm wearing the slacks, the dress shoes, the Stacey Adams, and the tank top. It was so hot.
Bobby, you're in the South.
I know, right? I'm like, Cali, IE boy. I'm like, oh yeah, we a long way home from Kansas. There, boy.
You're in the South. It may be North Carolina, but we are the South.
I love it though. I love the hospitality out here. That's one thing. Like, I just noticed with everybody that I've encountered, like, it's just been real hospitable. Like, I love it. I love it.
And what's been the best part of being here in Charlotte for you?
I think the best part of being on this tour and traveling is I have my son with me, and he's 16 years old, and he's an entrepreneur in his own right. He's got his own clothing line called Forever Rich, and what really tapped me on such a different level was while I'm getting dressed, he calls me and he was like, "Dad, you'll never guess. I just met Dave Chappelle and he likes my hoodie, and he wants my hoodie. He gave me his address. I'm gonna send him some stuff," and that to me, at this age in my life and what I've been able to accomplish in life, for him to experience and be, a byproduct of what I've been able to do in music and to watch him go, it's great as a father to see that, and for him to see me on stage and, he's 16 years old. So, he's in the Chris Brown generation, and he loves Usher. So for him to see what his uncle and his dad is doing with this tour is really fulfilling emotionally as a father.
And let's take a glimpse into it. Let's take a step back. When did you realize that music was going to be your thing?
Music to me, it was just in me. I remember being 3 years old, still to this day, crawling on my knees and going up to a speaker, and I had a toy piano, and I would listen to commercials that would come on, and I would put my ear to the speaker and I would try to find the melodies. And I think that was just the first indication that music was me. And I didn't find it, it found me. And I just began, I was so engulfed in, my dad had bands and stuff, and they would rehearse late at night at the house. And so, I would listen, and it was a part of me. And I began to love technology and drum machines and synthesizers. And my dad would have all the kind of the coolest, newest, gear when it would come out. And I would go to the music store with him. And, it's that whole journey of discovering. And then there was my dad's best friend, his name is James Felix, who was one of the disciples from the Andre Crouch band. And so he was a huge hero of mine and an inspiration. And I just kind of gravitated towards him. And then Donny Hathaway, and then Sly Stone and Prince and Earth, Wind and Fire. That's just kind of what was in me in the house, as my dad played music. And so that led to me writing songs, and one thing led to another. And next thing you know, I'm in the studio, got a demo, and I got signed to RCA Records at 12 years old.
12 years old.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
It was surreal. What hit me was the moment I found out I was signing this record deal. I went to this dinner, and my one of my favorite rappers happened to be there, Kumo D, and I was like, how is this possible? Like, I'm 12, like, dang, I've been used to listen to How You Like Me Now, and like he's like right here in front of me. And that kind of really started the way for me. The curiosity and just the possibilities were like endless, and that's what really kept me intrigued in music in a big way.
And at 12 years old, you said you got your first record deal. When did you get your first big break? Or when did you feel as if like, okay, this is my first big win?
I mean, I opened up for New Kids on the Block. I was on the tour after I released that first record. That didn't really hit me, even though I was performing on some of the biggest stages, and that really didn't hit me. It was when I was close to 15 years old, and I was putting out a record independently, and man, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis happened to call at a studio, and they heard my music over the phone, and maybe a month later, I was in Minneapolis, and that's when it hit me that, you know, uh, okay, I have something here. My heroes, are Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and I'm in Minneapolis and meeting Mint Condition and Sounds of Blackness and Low Key, and then being in the studio with Johnny Gill, who I'd seen back in the days on the Any Heartbreak tour, and that was a moment for me that where it just was like, wow, that was that wow moment, and such a sponge, and still to this day, just like learning and being that in that environment really challenged me as a creator.
And talk about some of those challenging moments. I think we always, definitely want to highlight like the big moments. Like you're talking
Yeah.
about working with some of the big artists. You work with Shaka Khan, Mary J. Blige, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Were there any challenging moments on that period of time too, where you was like, okay, wait a minute,
Oh
what am I
man.
doing at this
Oh
point?
yeah,
You know?
man. I mean, I went through a whole lot emotionally. You know, my father was did the right thing and did and at the in the wrong way sometimes,
Yeah.
and I dealt with a whole lot just emotionally, physically abused, and um, I had to deal with that, and then the rejection and the ups and downs that the music business that you experience, and trying to find your way. Am I good enough? Am I brown enough? Am I white enough? Am I black enough? Am I purple enough? Do I really have it? Again, it's like, am I good enough? And that was challenging. And I think what was great in my life was that God really put amazing mentors in front of me that allowed me to learn like marketing, allowed me to learn branding and radio and publicity and how to move and be strategic and be intentional. And that really helped me navigate my way through this journey of music, and helped me not give up. And as much as you know, the success is great, but there's so much magic in pain and growth. And I barely learned that like recently. When I look back at my life, it's the pain that really helped me grow, and really helped me understand what's important, because getting the Grammys, the platinum records, all that stuff, it was, that was the goal, right?
Yeah.
But when I got that, I realized what I really loved, and it was the music, and none of that mattered,
Wow.
you know. And in that, because I love it that much, the disappointments is what really would break me at times, and I just had to find the strength, and I love an incredible God who don't judge, and who says, "Look, I would have never gave you this if this wasn't for you. So you got it. You have to keep going." And I have an incredible brother who gave me strength. But those are definitely huge challenges. And being with Usher for like 22 years, we've seen each other as brothers grow, and where life has taken us. I knew him when he didn't have no kids. He knew me and my brother when we didn't have kids and stuff. So. It's amazing to see where life can take you, and that's why I say the true superstar in my life, and what we're all doing is really the music.
So is so great to hear you say that. Going back to you were saying about actually getting the awards, right? Getting
Yeah,
getting the Grammy. For me when I won my first Emmy, right? The
yeah, man, I
moment,
love
magical, right?
it. Yeah,
Magical moment. But then, like you said, like after you then make it to the point where you get this award that you already wanted, then you have to live with the reality of, okay, what's next, and
yeah,
what is really going to make me happy, because I can win a few more of these, but nothing's going to feel like the first time.
yeah,
So you're kind of constantly still going for that high, and then like you said, I'm just mind blown right now because that's what I had to then go back to. That okay, I won the Emmy, but my love really came from writing and telling people stories.
yeah,
So then you lock back into that, and then you go with that. So it's good to hear that even on the music side, it's still the same thing. But music is so different though, because it's hard, as you know, to maintain a career for decades. Like
Yeah.
artists come and go
Oh yeah,
very
exactly. That's what we
quickly.
say.
People in
Yeah.
the industry come and go, right? Or you have your wave and then you leave. So to know that you've been in the industry for decades at this point and still be riding with Usher as well, I think that just goes also just to like the loyalty behind it too.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's what's beautiful. It's like, it's the brutal honesty, and it's the truth, and it's also the passion that we all collectively have for the art, for the craft. Um, you know, it's it's really hard um, to see and foresee, the hurdles and all those crazy things that come along with it, because most successful people still go through those kind of battles of, after I do this, where do I go then? And it's like what Kobe Bryant said, you climb the mountain, next thing you know, you're on your way down, and then you have to climb it again. And the expectation of you always continuing to be at a high elevation is really hard, and then you have to deal with life like outside of this, right? That's the other part of it. Um, and
That people don't know about.
yeah, it's
That
like,
the personal private battles that you don't tell people.
no,
That
yeah,
you're battling yourself.
absolutely. And I think what this tour is doing for me, it's it's God's allowing me to see where my music has gone, where life has taken me. I was in Minneapolis, and I ended up taking a tour of Paisley Park, and I didn't want to do it because Prince is like Jimmy and Terry. Everybody knows that's my guy.
Yeah.
And they gave me a private tour. They let me play music in the studio. They just gave me an intimate, backdrop of his life in such a different way. And I remember being in Minneapolis when I was 14, 15 years old, and here I am with my son, and seeing where life has taken me. And the other thing too is like, doing an interview with you here in Charlotte, I'm able to also find the inner city kids that really need to be inspired. Yeah. And I'm able to talk to them, and I have an incredible publicist, and she finds like, the organizations who are really about kids, and I'm able to take time out of my day while I'm here in the city to talk to them and to pour in their cups, because I think it's important, because I know how I benefited from that. Mm-hmm. And so I have a mad passion, as well as my brother, to really reach out and inspire, because I've been in them situations of being rejected, and in life outside of music, wanting to take my own life because of the circumstances that I was in, and knowing that what that struggle is all about. It's like, if there's anything I can do through my gift to change somebody else's life, that's what I'm really here. I'm supposed to be doing here, for real.
What's your message that you tell them?
I just tell them that, don't chase a dream, chase you. A dream is something that, it sounds great, but your eyes are closed. When you chase you don't let nothing get in the way of you. What you love, if it's music that you love, you let that be everything that you're about. And also, I love this quote I had seen on this Instagram post, where it's like, surround yourselves with people whose eyes light up when they see you. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's like, that's just the most simplest way of saying, surround yourself around people who care about you, people who love you, who are concerned with you. Because not everybody's, they might be by your side, but they're not on your side. And that to me is like really important. And as long as you're chasing you, there's a focus, and there's that's the target, but you will face a price in anything and everything that you love to do, that you're going to have to pay a price for it. But it's all worth it at the end of the day. I'm happy that I've given music my whole entire life, because it's shown me so much, and it's a lot of people have come into my life that has made my life that much more fulfilling and worth living.
Mm-hmm. And like I tell young people too, you have to find something and you have to find something within what you're doing that's going to keep you going.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing sometimes is not always going to be it. You got to always, kind of like that saying, you got to always remember your why.
Yeah, I love that.
Stay with your why, and want to know why you're doing it, because as you say, it gets really challenging.
Yeah,
It's
crazy, as simple as you said. Like that's great, man. That's great for me to even hear today. Like, just a simple, hey, why?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I can, man, you making me answer that question myself. It's like, why? Because I love it and I have to, and I have a job to give my gift. And I love what Denzel always says, like, don't mistake progress or movement for progress. It's like you could be moving in one place and never getting anywhere, and you never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. So everything that we have, we can't take with us.
Yeah.
You know.
Never see the U-Haul behind her. Oh, this is inspirational. I thought we came to talk about the tour.
Hey, well, that's what the tour does. It brings out inspiration.
I love it, though. I love it, though. Let's get back into some of the work, though, because you also worked on Usher's legendary Super Bowl halftime performance as well. Talk about that, man, because you talk about filling the space. Not only are you filling the space of a stadium, you also have the most eyes that you will ever have on you at that period of time. How was that?
Yeah, it was awesome, man. I think what we were able to do in Vegas with the residency between, me and my brother, Lil Jon, who was very, very instrumental in that residency, and his partner, Chronic, creating that show at Caesar's Palace really was like a series of events that led up to the Super Bowl. And I'll never forget it. The Super Bowl that took place a year before we actually did it. I was with Lil Jon in Phoenix, and he was like, you never know, man. We might be up there with old boy. And he kind of predicted that. And wow. We talked in August, and I put it out there. I said, I think Usher's going to do the Super Bowl. And, man, next thing you know, we get a call. It's like, hey, where are you guys in the world? Because I'd love for you guys to help me produce the Super Bowl. And, we got the team back together. And that experience for us was amazing because we were flying at such a high altitude. Our bar was really like Michael Jackson and Prince. And if Ush can land right in the middle, we did our job. Mm-hmm. It was 6 months of just work, creative.
I was about to say, how long is it? Because I always wanted to ask that because, of course, we learned about it, roughly October, November, somewhere around that time. When do y'all actually get, word of it? When did you get the call?
We started in September, so we shifted our whole, all our life and our time in September. So we were there all the way up until 2 days after the Super Bowl. So, yeah, it took a lot of time. So, Thanksgiving, the holidays, Christmas, all of that stuff, we were engulfed in it.
Wow. And what was your favorite moment of it?
The favorite, my team was there. Terry Lewis told me it's once in a lifetime. So my team, my favorite football team is there. Mm-hmm. I'm producing the show. I'm with my brother. I took my 2 kids with me, my son, my daughter. My mom, my dad's there. Our engineer, Bruce Bang, who we met through Baby Bash. I mean, there was just so much of this camaraderie of appreciation and to see where life takes you. And the crazy thing is we only get to do this once, right? So that Super Bowl, we were very aware that we're going to live with that for the rest of our lives. I mean, that's just what it's going to be. That year is going to be in the books. And, watching the show, being around it, I love Usher's moment where he said, Mom, we did it. They said we couldn't do it. And that to me was that really stood out because there's a lot of naysayers and there's a lot of people that say, oh, you shouldn't be here. You can't be here. And we didn't know he was going to say that at that moment. But when he did, it really resonated because those things for me are very emotional. And I really gravitate towards those kind of moments. And when I saw that, I'm like, man, he could have had anybody there. But he had these 2 Chicanos from the Inland Empire with him. And it allowed me and my brother to be a face for guys who look like us and women who aspire to be who we are as brown folks. And it really showed them that they can be there too and that was possible. And that really stood out a whole lot for us.
How do you soak it all in? I mean, it's so much, right?
Yeah.
And it happens for so long. You said 6 months. When do you take a moment just to sit back and soak it all in? Is it right before the show? Is it during the show? Is it in the 2 days after the show? Do you go back and watch it and be like, wow, that was me? When do you soak it all in?
What was crazy about the Super Bowl, it was a year later, it had passed. And so Vegas has the CES show, the electronic show, and Lil Jon happened to be doing a private event in the Allegiant Stadium for a company called TCL TVs, and so I go there, I meet him, me and my brother, and we hang out with him before he does his performance. And mind you, the performance he's doing is like they set up this whole area in the concession stands with the stage and everything. But in the suite, we're able to look at the whole entire field, and there's nobody in there, and we're just in the suite. Yeah. That's when I said, and even John, we all had a moment where it was like, dang, we did the Super Bowl here.
We did that shit.
Yeah, like we actually did it, and that was like when all the noise, we had a moment where it was like, wow, I can't believe we did it here, man. That's when it really sets in for me, because you're on that hamster wheel for so long, and you don't really take the time. And more than anything, I'm really, really soaking up the moment, especially like being on this tour. Every different city that we're going to, it's like I want to get everything that I could possibly get out of the day, so that I don't leave anything behind, because I can't look in the rearview mirror. I got to look ahead of me. So I'm really trying to cherish those moments that I got every day now, more than ever.
And you're back in the studio too. You have your own album, The Return of the Gentleman. Tell us about it.
Yeah, last year I got inspired. Baby Bash, my partner, with regards to my solo career, was like, man, let's write, come down to Houston, let's do some stuff together. And man, it was timing, and it was like, all right, you're passionate about being an artist again, and you're ready to go. And it's fitting because the EP is called The Return of the Gentleman. It's really a concept where it's just getting back to, the sexies being a gentleman. It's those things, being romantic and all that, those kind of things is really what I'm inspired about. And the single that's out right now is called Lucky Fella. And it's crazy because I feel the most lucky right now in my life, being back as an artist, being in those shoes again, and then also being on this tour. It's like, come on, man, like I gotta be a lucky fella, you know what I mean? And I think it's exciting for me to be able to produce, be a music director, perform on the stage the way that I am with this tour, and then also be able to work my record and to be an artist and be expressive in that way at the same time.
What can we expect from the album?
I go for being timeless, and what I'm really happy about is I'm looking to provoke emotion and a provoke thought more than anything. And I think there's nothing like listening to music, and it's really an emotional experience. Like I always say, you never hear somebody say, oh, I hate music, but you'll hear them say, well, man, I can't stand pizza, or I can't stand hamburgers, or I can't, and that's the power of music, right? So when we aren't feeling anything, then there's a problem with music. And I really want to provoke emotion, and I really want to take somebody on a journey and be like, man, I need Bobby for this, man. He's going to get me through this. So I'm really excited about the emotional experience that my music's going to convey to the music lover.
Absolutely. Are you planning on going on tour with that?
I'm going to be on tour.
Okay.
I'm going to be a bit of everywhere. I'm just going to allow music to take me down the road and down the path that I'm supposed to be on.
Yeah. And that's the way to go, just kind of. It's crazy because I literally was talking to my best friend Jeremiah, and I'm like, the saying I'm going for now is wherever I'm at is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's with everything, like even on like the weekends, we just, in life, you find yourself just on so many time crunches. We was talking about it before we started, right? You got to be at the stadium at this time. You got to do it this time. And I literally put into my schedule sometimes of nothing.
Right. Yeah. Nothing, yeah. I schedule right? Zero. Yeah.
Nothing,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. And it's crazy because even in scheduling nothing, I have to remind myself throughout the day, you're not on the schedule. All right. So wherever I'm at is where I'm supposed to be. If I'm over here having a drink, that's where I'm supposed to be. If I'm over here just chilling, laying on the couch, that's where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I feel as if once we give our times those moments to just sit and just be, I think it really centers us back to who we are and where we're supposed to be.
No, I totally agree with that, man. I mean, that to me, the moment I decided to be an artist, I felt the universe pulling me in a certain way, and it just led me here. And between the sets, so after we get done with Ush, like I said, I go to the side and I just look at the stadium. I'm like, man, how crazy is this? Like, this is pretty cool,
Yeah.
Never saying to myself, oh, I can't wait to do a stadium, or it's just happened, and how it happens, it's I appreciate it, man. So I'm with you, man. I'm where I'm supposed to be.
All right. I got some rapid fire questions for you. Are you
Shoot.
ready? All right, cool. Don't think too hard.
No, man.
You got to just go with it. All right, the first thing that come to mind. All right, cool. Favorite artist you've ever worked with?
Elder Barge,
Favorite city on this tour?
Minneapolis.
Oh yeah, I can't even take it back. I said, don't think about it. You said, I'm like, not Charlotte, but I mean, you're Prince. I definitely get it. Best crowd so far?
Charlotte. For
Are
sure.
you just saying that just because?
No,
Okay,
Charlotte
all
for
right,
sure.
Cool. Well, I ain't just pressed him. He literally just said that. Okay,
Yep.
cool. Song you're most proud of producing?
Ooh,
The first one to come to mind.
I gotta say, Pure Gold for Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay, solid. Favorite Usher song?
Truth Hurts.
Truth hurts. Okay. Favorite Chris Brown song?
Running.
I like that song too.
Yeah.
All right, studio or stage? That's a hard one for you.
Yeah.
I know it is.
Studio.
Studio.
Yeah, I'm safe in the studio. I can express myself in so many different ways musically. Yeah, that's my safe place.
Not people.
Well, in the studio you're creating, and you really can't create on the stage the way you can in the studio.
True. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Tea. Same.
Yep.
Throw away coffee for me. One artist you still like to work with?
Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald. Okay. Dream venue to perform?
Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square. Okay. Where y'all? Have y'all been to New York yet?
We haven't been in New York yet. No.
Okay. Where y'all gonna be?
We're
in
on
New
our
York?
way. I think in like
Barclay?
Jersey. Oh, yeah, that's where.
Okay.
Barclay,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. One word that describes Usher.
Timeless.
Okay. One word that describes this tour.
Epic.
The biggest pre-show ritual.
Catering.
The food got to be up. Okay, we got to get you some Bojangles. Favorite instrument to play?
Bass.
Bass. Okay, I love a good bass player.
Yeah, bass is fun. Piano's I love piano, but bass is fun.
What's on your playlist right now?
Andre Crouch, Kenny Loggins, the Gap Band, Zap, and Parliament.
Okay. You a little bit all over the place. I like that. I'm the same way. People get in my car. I'm like, you never know what you're gonna hear.
No,
I
it's crazy. I remember working on Confessions, and we were doing a commercial for this company, and man, this lady, she was like, "Who's playing that music?" And I'm like, from my computer, I was like, "It's me." She was like, "You listen to Billy Joel and James Taylor, and then you're playing like Public Enemy?" Like, it's like, yeah, you don't look at the color. Don't judge me. I'm all over the place.
I'm all over the place, right?
Yep.
They don't have no restriction on music, right? I can play it.
No way. No.
If you weren't in music, what would you be doing?
I'd be a fisherman.
Fisherman. Okay. Catching what?
Catching as many fish and lobsters as I possibly can.
And what's one thing people always get wrong about producers?
That it's easy. That's the one thing. I'm a producer. Well, define what's your definition of a producer? And a producer is one that sees things. He's the devil in the details for everything, the song, the instrumentation, all of those different things. Mm-hmm. I think that's the biggest problem to me.
And what's one lesson or one piece of advice that you would give to a young producer who's watching or listening to this right now?
Know who came before you. Know what shoulders you're standing on. I think I've been able to have a long career because I'm really a plethora of many creatives, many creators, many artists, many producers, many musicians that came before me and who I studied and continue to study every single day. I learned something every single day new about a Prince or a Sly Stone or Shuggy Otis or a Bernie Worrell or George Clinton or a Bootsy every single day. And I think that's what's kept me alive, and that's what's really kept me inspired by understanding, like, this having this Rolodex of music, and if this is what you love, like, you should do a deep dive and know it.
How does that play into the legacy that you want to leave behind?
Oh, massive. I really want to leave music better than it was where I found it. And that says a lot. That's a huge leap, but that's how much I love it.
Yeah. So another thing too, I cannot let you go. We cannot wrap this up because you spent some time in my hometown. You spent some time in St. Louis, right? That's where y'all did some, rehearsing for it. How was it being in the Lou?
Man, I actually loved it. I didn't like. We were in the middle of nowhere.
You go ahead and say I ain't
no,
think so.
No, it was crazy because we went to two parts, right? So
Uh-huh.
we're in the nice, quiet suburban part of it.
Yeah, out of Chesterfield. Yeah,
Yeah, Chesterfield. Yeah, and then we get into like the griminess in downtown, and it's like I loved it. Like what was crazy, what stood out to me was Kentucky Fried Chicken tasted different in St. Louis than it does in Cali, and I was like, they don't make the biscuits like this. They don't make it was
they sauced it up for you.
Yeah, it was like it was completely different. But I loved just the culture and the nostalgicness of it. I got the food was amazing that I got.
So what? Like, do you remember something that you ate?
Man, I had some like straight catfish right on the corner on the block, right across the street. I went and got my eyebrows waxed. It was just a vibe, like it was a really cool vibe, and we're on our way to St. Louis now. Man.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be fun.
It's love. But listen, like you mentioned catfish. And I've lived in the Carolinas since 2020. And that is one thing that I love about my city is that we know how to fry some fish. A lot of it's like water battered out here. St. Louis is just good, crunchy catfish. So I'm glad you got a chance to get some of that. We got to get you some emos, or you got to get some emos when you go there.
Okay.
Okay? It's the pizza. I don't know if you're going to like it or not. Some people like it, some people don't. But it's one of the staples of St. Louis. It's definitely.
Oh, really? So what's the vibe though? Like what
it's
makes
like,
it different?
It's thin crust. We made our own cheese, so it's like called Provel cheese. It's a mix of a lot of cheeses. It's super thin crust. Some people call it cracker pizza or whatever. But I love it. People who grew up in St. Louis love some.
And it's called emo.
Emos, right? But it's spelled IMOS.
Okay, emos.
It looks
okay,
like
man, that's gonna be the first thing
emos.
I'll look for when we get there.
Yes. There's some Chinese food.
Okay, yeah, I know Chinese food for sure. Yeah, I was hip to that. Yeah.
It's all good, man. But listen, how can people get in touch with you? Check out your music. Where can we find you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Bobby Ross Avila Official, and that's on Instagram and Facebook.
All right, Bobby, it's so good to have you, brother. I thank you so much for your
Thanks
time.
for having me,
Thank you so much for your vulnerability, too. I know we weren't really expecting it, but I really appreciate you for even taking a moment to just let us know just about the man behind the music. And I think you're really going to help somebody.
Man, that's what it's supposed to be. I hope I'm putting something out there in the world that's going to inspire and affect somebody in a great way. That's my hope, and that's what I believe I'm here for.
Absolutely, brother. You're doing an amazing job. You keep it going,
thank
brother.
You. I appreciate your time. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And thank y'all for joining us here, too, on the Darion LA Show. Make sure to check out the R&B tour if it comes to a city near you. And also check out Bobby when he's on stage as well. Have a great day. We'll see y'all on the next episode.